Ladies and gentlemen, WWE 2K26 is almost around the corner. It's crazy that we're having this conversation, but make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you guys have been enjoying the content lately. But let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty with WWE 2K26. Now, obviously, over the last year, we've seen so much new things go on around the WWE surrounding the roster, right? We saw them acquire AAA. We saw them work with TNA and actually make an official partnership out of it. And we've seen lots of TNA talent, NXT talent going back and forth between both shows. So that is going to be interesting for the roster. But not only that, we've also seen the AAA have their own show on YouTube with WWE wrestlers and all that good stuff. So it has been a lot of just crossing over from promotion to promotion, and obviously it's a good thing for us because I think that we are going to be able to benefit from these types of things in the upcoming future. One thing I want to go on ahead and get into, shout out to the Pro Wrestling Shoot for finding this, and shout out to Sean Ross Sapp over from Fightful for getting this information for us. So I just wanted to go on ahead and get into it. Nothing is confirmed, but I do want to go on ahead and speculate a little bit. So let's go on ahead and read some of these articles that have been put out on the internet for us. Over the past year, WWE has established a working relationship with TNA and has also acquired AAA. Recently, a fan asked Sean Ross Sapp in the latest Fightful Select answers about the possibility of AAA or TNA talent being included in WWE 2K26, which is set to be released in the fourth quarter of 2026, likely between July and September. That's already wrong, but let's just go on ahead and move on. Looks like a mistake. I don't expect anybody that doesn't play video games or know about the cycle to know much about it, but again, we take everything that we see with a grain of salt, especially a reputable figure like Sean Ross Sapp himself. Sapp indicated that there is a significant chance of adding top or easily marketable AAA talent to the game, along with AAA titles and venues. He pointed out that including AAA talent is the easier option since WWE is not the parent company of the Lucha Libre promotion. On the other hand, Sapp mentioned that incorporating TNA wrestling is more complicated, as I thought honestly with that. Despite the partnership between WWE and TNA talent are not under contract with WWE, and TNA operates as its own separate entity. He speculated that while a full TNA roster in WWE 2K26 is unlikely, it may be possible to include a team like the Hardys or even consider a TNA DLC pack as an alternative. So this is almost what I thought, right? AAA is owned by WWE now, so it is very possible that we can go on ahead and really see AAA talent, AAA venues, and even then we can see them as a major part of the My Rise and the My Career and all that good stuff. And again, it would be really, really cool to see because I'm all for new talent and everything like that. In fact, I could see this very well being one of the biggest groundbreaking changes in this upcoming year's game, because you know that WWE, especially 2K, they love to say this is the greatest new roster. This is the biggest roster ever. So I can really see them doing this AAA thing and really going crazy with it. I don't see the full roster as that article mentioned, but I definitely see, some wrestlers, certain wrestlers, making it in there, especially the guy with the iguana. I'm not really familiar with his name. It might be Mr. Iguana or something like that, but it's very, very well obvious that he is very over within the WWE crowd. So I could see them making him some sort of DLC factor or even just base roster, right? Because again, you want to make this roster as big as it possibly can be. But not only that, TNA, right? That's the big elephant in the room with what they could do with TNA, simply because the thing with TNA is, man, as that article mentioned, they're not owned by the WWE. Could they certainly work something out? I'm sure, but it's probably going to take a lot more time because licensing is a big, big issue. With AAA, they don't really have to worry about licensing as much because it's already owned by the company, but TNA is still owned by its own owner and all that stuff. So it's really, something that seems highly unlikely in my opinion right away. I could see them as a DLC pack, but not base roster. We'll really have to see what happens with WWE 2K and all that good stuff. But again, this could be something that is highly likely to happen at some point. Even the Hardys I would like to see, even the guys that were in the WWE before or participated. I could see a TNA DLC pack where we see Joe Hendry, the Hardys, and some other guys as well. We've already seen what they can do with the Persona cards like AJ Styles. They have everything TNA with that Persona card, with his theme song and his look and everything. So I would say never say never. It is unlikely for TNA talent to get in here, but I would really like to see it. Even if it's like Persona cards, I would really like to see that, because I've always said you can always make my faction take a step forward, even though some people may not like it, some people may like it, and you can bring those characters over, right? Because that's one thing that I can say this year. 2K has done a fantastic job at making sure that we get lots of post-release content, and that's not more on the way that they've handled it, it's just what they've done. The John Cena farewell pack was dope. Then you have the DLC, which they seem to do a really good job on, minus the Grande Americano. But then you look at everything else, very good stuff, you know, with what they've been doing. So I'm honestly, you know, wanting to see, you know, what can they do, you know, with all of these things and roster, and just see how far can we go with Persona cards, how far can we go with these companies allowing them to, you know, hold the licensing and do different things. So again, there's so much that can happen, but we'll really have to see. You know, I think my faction will eventually play a role in some of this stuff. I really think so. I think it's only a matter of time till they start putting exclusive stuff in my faction, and I'm not talking just Persona cards, but even just venues, different characters in there, and just different reasons to actually want to go on ahead and play the mode. So that's really my 2 cents when it comes down to that. But even just getting into different things, right? We finally got the teaser. We spoke about it in the last video, and it's only a matter of time before they drop some sort of hype commercial or something like that. We're already coming near the end of November. We are going to get into December, and then after December, that's when the ball really truly gets rolling. And I believe that we'll probably see something soon. Maybe, you know, in a month we'll see a commercial, we'll see some sort of hype video between the last week of December and first week of January, especially if they do decide to move up the date. I don't think that's something that's probably going to happen. I've seen some people mention, you know, the date and if things are going to change with the date. I don't think much is going to change with the date, even though we did get the game last year about a week earlier than the year before. I'd be surprised to see if the game gets around earlier, to be honest. I think that they should use all the time that they can get. Obviously, that's not my decision, probably not even the devs' decision. That's probably something that comes from upstairs, if y'all feel what I'm saying. But I would like to see, you know, a really cool game this year. You know, I enjoyed 2K25. I more enjoyed the single player aspect of it and the universe mode aspect of it. Everything else kind of took a back seat for me this year after the halfway point. So I really want to see more and more and just keep the cycle alive. You know what I'm saying? And if you have to use certain companies, TNA, AAA, to do that, I'm all for it, because I want to see the biggest roster assembled ever in some of these video games. I truly do. So we'll really have to see what's going to happen with this and this roster change and just everything, man, because NXT, they continue expanding on that roster, and there were some characters that were left out. So that's also another thing. I do want to see all those NXT characters that were left out, and even more NXT characters, because I don't want AAA or TNA to come around and take away those spots from people that we actually see on WWE television. I would like to see them all, if I'm being honest, right? So hopefully we do get to see that part, and hopefully we do get to enjoy it as fans. So we'll have to see what happens, y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.